Hello Groveland Township. Today's video is being generated near the end of June 2016. A number of you may recall that over the years we have had changes in the speed limits out here on the dirt roads. For many years, a number of the roads in our township had sections that were posted 25 miles an hour. And the township never rejected anybody that requested that as long as the residents along that stretch of the road wanted it posted at 25. And I think we had maybe a dozen of them or so scattered throughout the township. But in 2006, the state police got together with the road commission and said, look, at the speed limit on unposted gravel roads in the entire state of Michigan is 55 miles an hour if they're unposted, conditions permitting. And as you might expect, a number of our residents and residents in the other townships in the area were pretty upset at that change. But it's not an issue that the township actually has any control over. It's directly controlled by the state of Michigan, who sets the speed limits. That started a whole series of legislative moves from 2006 on. There were at least two full-fledged efforts at trying to get a state law enacted that would change the speed limits on gravel roads or give us some options on the gravel roads in our area, because people were very upset at the removal of the 25-mile-an-hour signs. Now, as I said, the township never turned anybody down that wanted it. We had a number of them. But to change this is beyond the township's capability. The state legislatures have to actually do it. And the two previous attempts that were done were both vetoed before they ever got to be legislation, so they never took place. This has come up time and time again. But I recently got a notification from one of our online subscriptions that I'll read to you. It's very brief, and it may be of interest to a number of you. It starts off that the townships will still have, first of all, it's about the 75-mile-an-hour speed limit bill clearing the House. This you may have heard on the evening news, and that is that they've been talking about raising speed limits on some of the freeways to 75 miles an hour. All of these speed issues are kind of related, and you'll see this in a minute. It goes on to say that townships will have a voice in setting speed limits under a package of bills that permits speed limits of up to 75 miles per hour on rural state freeways. House Bills 4423, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were passed by the House this week after floor amendments allowed for certain areas to request lower speed limits. Originally, House Bill 4425, sponsored by Representative Rick Ottman in Belvedere Township, would have eliminated townships' abilities to request a speed study as well as township input with the County Road Commission and Michigan State Police to set the speed limits. However, the Michigan Townships Association negotiated an amendment retaining the statutory language and took a neutral position on the bills. The package allows for a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit on state rural freeways and 60 miles per hour on trunk line highways, both of which hinge upon the safety and engineering study being done first. Gravel and unpaved roads, this is the part where most of our residents I think would be interested, gravel or unpaved roads would have 55-mile-an-hour speed limits except in counties with more than 1 million residents. And the only two counties that I think that applies to is Michigan is Wayne County and Oakland County. They would have a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit instead of 55. Municipalities in those counties could request the speed limit to be reduced to 35 miles per hour, and the bill now moves to the Senate for consideration. So this bill is not law yet, but this is probably the closest I've seen it moving along, in that at least it has made it through the state House of Representatives. Now it's gone to the state Senate to take a look at it. So if you're a resident that's interested in this issue and you want to voice your comments either for or against it, I would suggest this is an excellent time for you to either write or call our state senator. And our state senator for the 26th district is Senator Dave Robertson. And Dave can be reached at 517-373-1636. That's his office in Lansing, and if he's not there, you can do what I frequently do, and that is leave information with his staff that I either oppose or support a bill, which is what I generally tend to do on different issues. If you don't want to leave him a phone call or a voice message, you can also email him at sendrobertson@senate.michigan, spelled out, .gov. So either way, you could get a hold of your state senator and let him know your feelings on it. If this ends up passing the Senate, it then has to go on to the governor's office, and the governor has to either approve it or reject it. And I know they refer in here about the option of asking for 35 mile an hour speed in lieu of the 45 is still being maintained in the current issue of the bill. But I need to tell you that experience that I and other supervisors have had in the past is that there's three people that generally get to sit in on that committee, and that's the road commission, the state police who set speed limits, and the township supervisor. Generally speaking, I'm just being honest with you that I think the likelihood of being able to get a lower speed than 45 if this is approved is probably pretty remote, but we'd certainly be able to try and see if the new system works any different than the old one. So for that reason, I just thought many of you have asked about this over the last 8 years because it's been a real sore point. You need to understand it's not the township that took the 25 mile an hour speed limit signs away. We do not control the speed limits. The current speed limit, which is 55 miles an hour on unposted gravel roads, conditions permitting, is a statewide rule set up by the state police. And this is probably the best effort I've seen so far at trying to get something that's a little more acceptable, I think, to most people. So if you are interested and concerned about this issue, I suggest you let Senator Dave Robertson know what your thoughts are so that at least they have an idea what the constituents out in the field are feeling. This would be able to impact, as I said, communities in Oakland County and Wayne County. The rest of the state would probably be the same. In reference to the earlier part of the memo that dealt with 75 miles an hour, all the information I've seen is that this only applies to a few sections of road where engineering studies have indicated that they are designed to handle 75 mile an hour traffic, and I don't believe it's any of the roads in our area around here. So until the next video, Groveland, I hope you have a great day, enjoy the summer, be safe on the roads, and don't forget to let your senator know. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.